OCO, freethinkers.
I broke down how they took our lands, when they took our lands. I even gave you verbatim government documents, time periods and all. There's no excuse. And all those people that's yelling and screaming, talking about Africa this, Africa that, go there. We not stopping you. Go to Africa. Go live there. See if you can blend in. Ain't gonna be nobody standing there, welcome my brother, or you are American. It's no problem. Everything you need is here. Everything you need. Follow me. Ain't gonna be nothing like that, Slim. You gotta get in where you fit in, just like everybody else out there. You think it's gonna be a way better living in Africa? They fooled the people like that went on ahead and agreed with the American Colonization Society. They made pretend like it was gonna be a better way of living in West Africa because certain parts were not fully populated, but they were fully colonized. Oh, you gonna leave one colonized land to another one and think that's gonna be a better way of living? That's why it was less than 15,000 of them that went. Everybody else was like, kick rocks. What Negro problem?
OCO, freethinkers. You're now tuned into the realest historian on the planet.
King Kong ain't got shit on me! Relax and take notes!
He's here to make you think.
The Africans came way later, 1900s later. I put that on screen. We were not brought over here by way of slave ships. I put that on screen. I showed you that there was no such thing as a slave ship. I put that on screen. Number one, they couldn't come straight across the Atlantic with the ocean gyres there. They would be lost to sea. Number two, you're not about to fit 100, 200, nobody on a sailboat. They can't carry that much weight on a sailboat. Don't forget that they're calling them ships, but they were boats. Wherries, rowboats, those are small. The cargo ships came in the 1850s, and the first 3 cargo ships were owned by 3 different people, and those cargo ships were not being utilized commercially. The commercial use of the cargo ships came in the late 1850s. By that time, you had what, 10, 15 years more until slavery was allegedly abolished?
You are watching a master at work.
Let him cook now! Let him cook! I said let him cook!
We have been lied to about who we are. We're not African. None of us are. They got statue after statue up of Confederate soldiers, this, Union Army, that, this museum is this. You do not have the names of your heroes that enabled slavery the way that we were told. You're not telling us the names of the people that made it seem as if you won some type of war by capturing enslaved Africans and bringing them over here. And don't get it twisted, people came, but it wasn't you. Well, me and my wife tell you in these Statue of Liberty videos, but foreigners coming. But foreigners coming.
This motherfucker don't miss.
No, he's fucking good.
That motherfucker don't miss, man.
He's good.
In the heat of battle, he don't miss.
No.
In the heat of controversy, he don't miss.
No.
Once people get cognizant of what's going on, then yeah, we can make some changes because their stay is a temporary stay. The reason why is because if you look at the term resident, that means that's a person in transient status. That means that person has somewhere else to go. Yeah. That's not their original land. So this is what you're calling yourself when you're saying that you're a citizen. You're saying the same thing. A citizen is a resident. Resident is a person in transient status. That means you're there temporarily. That doesn't mean that you're there permanently. People are not tied to their states. They're tied to a state. Which one is that? It's 13 districts. So who was the head of the 13 districts? The corporation. So where was the corporation established? Washington, D.C. But Washington, D.C. is not a state, right? So anybody that's a citizen, that means that you're stateless. If you're stateless, that means you're not tied to any state. That means you're not tied to their constitution. The reason why is because you're tied to the city of Washington as a citizen. So you're here temporarily by their paperwork. They're literally trying to take you off of your land. That's the enemy. That's how you point them out.
This man is unstoppable.
This is the second time it was changed. I'm going to show you all something. These are the manuscripts of the Virginia Company of London. Look closely at the quote here. It says 20 and odd Negroes, okay? The West Indies. This is talking about the West Indies, where they got it from. That's where they were going back and forth.
I will not be debating Dane Calloway.
Yeah, that boy's scared. That boy's scared.
The best teacher you wished you had in school. Have your pens and paper handy and get ready to take notes. It's Dane Calloway.
Yeah.
Set it on fire. 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 Fire.
Yeah. All right, two. Listen. I know it's been a minute. I know a lot of y'all probably about to get on me. I done showed up like 7 minutes late. I know y'all like, yo, what is going on? Listen. Look, first of all, don't be getting on me, okay? Don't act like all of y'all showing up to something every single time on time. Don't get on me about that. I can point out at least 500 of y'all that ran late at least one time in your life. I don't want to hear that. Don't be getting on me like that now. Yeah. You lucky I ain't got this camera on. I ain't gonna lie, I needed a little bit more time to set that camera up. You know, then I would have really, been late, So anyway, we in here tonight. Y'all see what the title is right now. I've been telling y'all that we've been doing some things behind the scenes. All talk. I got the echo on purposely. You understand what I'm saying? It's turned up all season, every season, all year round. You know why? Because it's about that time that I could talk my stuff and let them know. Flexing muscle, beating on my chest and all that. You understand what I'm saying? You know why? Because more and more stuff is working in our favor. Some of y'all may not see it that way because some of y'all have been indoctrinated. And you want to focus on what they want you to focus on. Right? I'm going to let that echo not run the whole stream, but I'm going to let that echo ride. Because what I'm going to show y'all tonight is powerful. I'm talking about more powerful than marching, holding up signs, begging for reparations, kneeling, wanting to be heard. What I'm about to show you tonight ain't for the weak-hearted. It's just not. So all you pan goofies out there, just know.
I will not be debating Dane Calloway.
Your prince ran from me. Now we aiming at the king. You understand what I'm saying? I'm gonna take all of y'all down. Listen. So let me start off like this. Let me give y'all a backstory on what's been going on. I'm going to come back a little bit. I'm going to take y'all back to... Let me take y'all back during his campaign real quick, and I'm going to make sure that y'all can hear this. Let me put the boost on. We gonna start like this. Y'all ready? I got it. One step at a time to show y'all what's been going on. Y'all ready? Hold up. No. Don't get disrespectful. Look at that like button. That's disrespectful. You got to treat that like button like you just took your shoes off at the door. That's even before you even walk in. You understand what I'm saying? You got to treat that like button with respect. You got to, Come on now. All right, so here we go. So let's go back just a little bit right before he became president. I want y'all to peep game because the message was clear. It was just that a lot of you all didn't understand where it was coming from. And I'm going to tell you right now, neither did I until we were requested.
It's up.
Okay, here we go. Listen clear.
Tuition costs at colleges and universities have been exploding, and I mean absolutely exploding. While academics have been obsessed with indoctrinating America's youth, the time has come to reclaim our once great educational institutions from the radical left, and we will do that. Our secret weapon will be the college accreditation system. It's called accreditation for a reason. The accreditors are supposed to ensure that schools are not ripping off students and taxpayers, but they have failed totally. When I return to the White House, I will fire the radical left accreditors that have allowed our colleges to become dominated by Marxist maniacs and lunatics. We will then accept applications for new accreditors who will impose real standards on colleges once again and once and for all. These standards will include defending the American tradition and Western civilization, protecting free speech, eliminating wasteful administrative positions that drive up costs incredibly, removing all Marxist diversity, equity, and inclusion bureaucrats, offering options for accelerated and low-cost degrees, providing meaningful job placement and career services, and implementing college entrance and exit exams to prove that students are actually learning and getting their money's worth. Furthermore, I will direct the Department of Justice to pursue federal civil rights cases against schools that continue to engage in racial discrimination and schools that persist in explicit, unlawful discrimination under the guise of equity will not only have their endowments
under
taxed.
the guise of equity. Listen, y'all. Listen.
Worth.
This
Furthermore,
became
I will
reality.
direct the Department of Justice to pursue federal civil rights cases against schools that continue to engage in racial discrimination and schools that persist in explicit, unlawful discrimination under the guise of equity will not only have their endowments taxed, but through budget reconciliation, I will advance a measure to have them fined up to the entire amount of their endowment. A portion of the seized funds will then be used as restitution for victims of these illegal and unjust policies, policies that hurt our country. So
Now, he told you right then and there what he's going to do with the money that he's going to take from the people that don't act right when it comes to equality inside of universities and colleges.
badly.
Keep in mind, I just
Colleges
went
have
back
gotten
so you can
hundreds
see.
of billions of dollars from hard work of these illegal and unjust policies, policies that hurt our country so badly. Colleges have gotten hundreds of billions of dollars from hardworking taxpayers, and now we are going to get this anti-American insanity out of our institutions once and for all.
And anti-American insanity. Getting them out of the institutions. Getting them out of the institute. I'm going. You are going to understand. Tonight is monumental. It's historic. I mean, it already happened. But since, you know, some of that media don't want to show you out there in real time, they don't want that to be the trending topic. I'm going to show you tonight.
We are going to have real education in America.
Stop. Stop. Listen to what Trump just said.
Anti-American insanity out of our institutions once and for all. We are going to have real education in America.
Stop. We're going to have real education in America. Automatically, you understand right then and there that there is a criteria, okay, that's about to happen. That's already happened, and it's already, I could just jump ahead and let y'all know it's already happening, right? He's letting the public know that they can rest assured that he's going to change the narrative. He's going to change particular people's embedded propaganda that's all over in these institutions, right? Now, keep in mind, this was a while ago. This was before he became president. And this is what I'm ensuring to the public to let them know that we're going to make America great. Simple as that. We're going to make America great, and we're going to do it together, whether they like it or not. We're coming for the leftists, the liberal, I don't know, whatever. Anyway, so a lot of people had a meltdown about this, right? They didn't know what he was talking about at the time he was talking about. And that left a lot of people disturbed. It left a lot of questions lingering in people's minds. Some of the questions may have been, wait a minute, is Donald Trump trying to tell us that we were not receiving the right education in America? And you know, it's, believe it or not, it's millions of people out there that believes right now that the education that they received was the best. There's no room for improvement. There's no need for improvement. The ideologies that they were taught inside of their exhibitions and all the way, down to their educational programs, all of that was right and exact. We couldn't question anything about it. We shouldn't. That's history. That's the way it should be. But I want you to think about that, because if you're trying to make America great again,
It's up.
if you're trying to make America great again, that means that changes have to happen, right? And it has to start with what you know or what you were taught to believe so you could know to regurgitate that same ideology that doesn't have any legs to stand on as far as credibility is concerned. The only thing that holds these lies up high is your imagination. Not millions of people of Americans are going to question their history that they were taught when it comes to America. And then it's going to be some, and what you need to look into seriously, because there's going to be some people out there who are not from here that's going to be willing to accept America's history for the way it is, because it does not hurt them, even if they share the same skin complexion as you and I. They are not going to care. They are not going to care, even if they share the same skin complexion as you and I, about what is being taught throughout America's school curriculum, about its history. Most of you will say that history was written by the victors. But does that mean that what they write would be true? If a scam artist became a millionaire in 1 year, and then gives an interview at the end of that year, and a part of that interview is to how did you do it, would that scam artist admit to scamming to make it? No. The reason why I'm saying that is because will somebody that did wrong tell you the right way about how they did it? Think about it. If they know they wrong, would they admit it? We have so many organizations, so many programs, so many social engineering projects to weaponize certain information, which is indoctrination, to control future generations. This is the reason why you will hear people like Trump use the terms left wing, whatever you want to call it. But the bureaucrats, right? You hear that? Why are they enriching, why are they enriching? That's what I should have said. Their ideology. Without being scrutinized to see how much it's true. But yet it's deemed as historical fact by most of you. Again, you're basing it off of someone else's opinion. That's why there's a difference between truth and fact. Fact is based on someone else's opinion. Truth is non-debatable because it makes logical sense. It's right up front. There's no biasness. It's not about skin complexion, gender, and all the rest of that. What they try to make it out to be. Because if you listen to the equity part and the inclusion and or whatever, the diversity part, like all it's about is trying to bring the people together as one. And hopefully they can stand on equal ground as far as information is concerned. But not one person can tell another man's story. And that's the discrepancy. We do have different genders. We do have different races. We do have different ideologies. We have different people. That doesn't mean one people are just like another set of people based on their skin complexion, as an example. It doesn't work like that. It doesn't work like that. Like, you know that there was an issue when they tried to place Africa on us as if any of our people were born there. None of our people were born in Africa. None. You cannot name a plot of land that you could go to in anywhere in Africa and say, this is where my ancestors were buried. You can't do that right now. And that's a problem. Because if the stories that they were giving you throughout compulsory education and educational institutions was true, then we wouldn't have answers like that. And without just stated. If what they say in these schools that they taught us was real, It shouldn't, and if they were holding themselves accountable to what they taught to students and children alike, we wouldn't need to be going through all of this right now. So they lied and said, here's your education. Yeah, we the winners. No, we gonna tell you the truth. We are the winners of some imaginary war that you still don't know to this day what took place. What took place for some foreigners of another country to snatch and steal other foreigners of another foreign country to bring them over here in another foreign country that they not even familiar with, never been to, never visited, not in a large mass. They couldn't survive out here. If some stranger standing around your house looking at you walk, you coming up to him. Hey, how can I help you? What you looking for? Why you snooping around? You know this is my private property, right? Get your ass off my property. You not moving fast enough. You think that didn't happen back then? Pick them, American or African. You think the Africans gonna allow that too? See how they wanted you to believe that other people are weak and they were strong? Oh, we automatically gotta be afraid of a person we never seen before? Wait, I'm not talking about Santa Claus. I'm not talking about Jesus. I'm not talking about anybody. Uh-oh. Look how they did. Look how they did it. God spelled backwards is what? And then they got the nerve to have Trump working with it. Add the E at the end. Think. And it's equal, huh? Put two and two together. Let's move on. Because I could do this all day long. But you're going to learn what happened. So let's go back to this. This is what happened before he became president. When he became president, let me say we, my team and I, and shout out to my wife as well, okay? Of course, she a part of the team. And she definitely put in work with me in the gym. Okay, that's a triple entendre right there. Because that can mean the gym, the office, and this work. Okay? For putting some things out there to shake things up. Now, I didn't have an opportunity to clip up some old live streams and put together some old videos that I had that I wanted to present to you guys on this note. I do have other videos I'm going to be playing, but what I'm about to mention is some information that my wife and I put out there about our people's history. Now, when I say our people's history, I'm referring to the American Indian. Okay, I'm referring to the indigenous people. Not peoples, people, plural. Not peoples, plural, meaning it could be outside of that plural group. Plural, oh man, I hope people caught that. Peoples. People is already plural. When you add that S, you adding in more people. That shouldn't even be there. Okay? You have the indigenous people of Africa. You have the indigenous people of Asia. You have the indigenous people of South America. You have the indigenous people of North America. Here. Everything outside of the people is foreign. Straight up.
It's up.
All right. So it was a situation that we put out there I put out there during the live streams about how Biden was trying to attack certain information that was inside particular museums. In this sense, it was the American Indian museums. Now, before that happened, right before that happened, actually, I'm going to say between 3 to 6 months before that happened, my wife and I was bouncing back and forth with information on our channels dealing with our people, the American Indian people, the Niji. Historically referring to how the garments were made and why we wore them. Most of you can recall how we broke down the minerals that we created here indigenously in this land. And all the way down to the dyes that came from the minerals that was utilized to create the garments. We indigenously had it here. And we also outsourced it to other places like Hindustan, okay? Like South America. This is the reason why we share similarities in clothing, okay? Especially with our color schemes, the color palettes that we will utilize for our garments. We also, and I remember one segment I went into the copper rings that were worn around a particular shirt that was being displayed at a particular American Indian museum. Some of y'all can probably recall that now. So all of that was leading up, right? We had the information out. The information started flowing. People getting more interested in that. They started looking up these museums, started questioning all the bullshit that they put in these museums. There's just a lot of BS, okay, mixed in with very little truth. And Saturday, I'm talking about a lot of BS. 99% of the information that they have in these museums is BS, bad sociology. So the 1% is the truth. So we pointing out the stuff that they had in the museums that was the truth here. They immediately, and when I say immediately, it was between like 3 to 6 months after that, started snatching all of that stuff from the museums. Biden, and I went live when Biden dropped an executive order to make that happen, to the point where it already happened. By the time I reported it was the time the news reported it, because it was already in play. It was no ifs, ands, or buts about it. They did not give anybody any room to say anything about it. The news was late reporting it. Okay? Basically, by the time they were reporting it, they were already confiscating information and artifacts out of those museums, to the point where they were shutting sections of it down. They were empty. Again, by the time the news got to it, they took pictures of the museums empty. It was already removed. So I knew then that we had to do something about this. And this time around, it has to be including our information. Can't nobody tell our story but us. Not no African, not any other person, not any, I'm talking about even white folks, what you would call white folks, Caucasian folks. Nobody that's not indigenous to this land to tell our story but us. Which also goes to, and I'm not going to go there yet, but it also goes to what these people are referring to us as. That African American term gotta go. That black term gotta go. Because that black term has been infiltrated, but y'all foolish enough. Some of y'all, not all of y'all, some of y'all are so foolish that you can't see that. It's a lot of other foreigners attaching to themselves with the term black so they can be cool with you, making money off of you. Meanwhile, they got a culture and a home to go back to, and they don't share the same experiences you do. You got to understand that, to the point where they're not even considered black by way of their nationality here, because black is not a nationality. Listen to that. Black is not a nationality. When you leave out of America, they're going to call you American. When you got dual citizenship, they're going to call you, for example, Nigerian American by way of your nationality. Here. They got a nationality. They don't got to be misclassified by the census. In fact, they use the best classification. Not even classification of race. We're going to, sooner or later, some of y'all are going to understand that this has nothing to do with race. Race is a social construct. The whole thing is a social construct. Y'all going to get this. This has nothing to do with your skin complexion. This is all about your status within this government. They can see the white people and they blind to the black people because who can see in the dark anyway? Listen. If you cut on a light, you'll be able to see somebody. When it's dark, but you got night vision, they can't see you. You got to look at their governmental status, their social construct status in this government just like that. They will not see you because that's not something that represents you anywhere else, including nationality. That's not your skin complexion. These are way important things for you to think about now. You running around calling each other black as if it's a, again, a social trending thing to say. Oh, that's the politically correct. It's not even politically correct. There's no legislation that indicates that you are black by way of origin. There's no black land that you came from, black continent. Shit, the only thing that we had close to that was Black Planet. And that was a website, a social website. Think. So some people reached out to us from both sides. And what I mean by that is the sides that they want y'all to think is separate from each other when they all included, in my opinion. I'm not Democrat nor Republican, but I'm telling you the Democrats and the Republicans reached out. The Democrats did it first. They reached out to us. I told you this, that they wanted us involved in the school curriculums, and we're involved in the school curriculums. They're getting ready to get rid of the McGraw-Hill, okay? But keep in mind, my wife and I, we already have our own publishing company, so if they do decide to use our information, the publishing company is us. And you gonna know that. Whatever information that they don't use, we're gonna put it on a separate website anyway, because we're gonna still give our own curriculum out to the public, regardless. We don't even need to build a building for that. We could do that online. So regardless, we're gonna put it out. Because again, it's still up to the states whether they want to utilize our stuff or not. Okay? We appreciate them reaching out and, giving us our props because we really did our information. Okay? But we got to see what's up with that. But another part of that side, where we come in at, not only just them borrowing our information and, the school curriculums, now they putting it everywhere. Yeah. And that's what we about to talk about, because I'm going to rub it in my haters' face. Everybody want to say, oh, he don't do nothing and nobody listening. That's BS. They are listening. They are watching. They are inside of our community server. They are donating. They are sending emails. They are asking questions. They are learning. Okay? They are clicking like. They are commenting. They are sharing. They are there. And now we got to connect all the way up to the cabinet. So you can't play with us now. And I'm going to dangle it in your face, because I'm going to tell you, I'm going to show you how it is us. I'm going to show you how it is us. Look, and you going to know it too, because I'm talking about this is me. This is our writing. Nobody else talk like this but us. Nobody. There's plenty of copycats, but they know who the source is here. I'm the source. We are the source. They know better than that. We put in big work. Damn near 10 years we've been doing this. Straight up, non-stop. Document after document. Video after video. Live stream after live stream. Consistency. And then they get mad. Like, how did he get this following? I don't understand. Because I'm putting in the work and it paid off. My ancestors said, this what you got to do, Dane Calloway. No, don't come up with no stage name. Stay with your own name that your mother and father gave you and be yourself. Here's why. We need to use you to get this message out. The change is coming, and it's coming now, and we tearing every single lie down that they told our people, because we got to put our people back in position at the top, because our people suffer from the illusion of inclusion, and we ain't even in it right now in this falsified government. They making a lie. They telling you lie. It's over with. I'm done with it. I'm done. And I'm coming after them. I am. I'm tired of it. All that pan goofy shit. All them lies about this person, that person dealing with Black History Month. They talking about some diversity, equity, and inclusion. Where? When? Affirmative action. When? All the way back to affirmative action. When did it? When? When? Bro, when? You got that job because you got that job. Not because of your skin complexion. They lying to you. And all of them people getting money from yourself, not knowing the truth. That's going to change. March 27th, executive order, restoring truth. Nigga, listen. God damn it, listen. We got to connect. Send it up. Yeah? Send it up. And they listened. And they listened. 10 years of hard work. Restoring truth and sanity to American history. God damn it. It got Dane Calloway all through this goddamn executive order. All through it. We coming after their head. I'm excited. Okay. I want to point something out. Once widely respected. Y'all ready? We ain't finished. Once widely, let me calm down. Once widely respected as a symbol of American excellence and a global icon of culture achievement, the Smithsonian Institution has in recent years come under the influence of diverse race-centered ideology. The shift has promoted narratives that portray American and Western values as inherently harmful and oppressive. For example, the Smithsonian American Art Museum today features The Shape of Power, Stories of Race in America's Culture, an exhibit representing that societies, including the United States, have used race to establish and maintain systems of power, privilege, and disenfranchisement. You know why I'm stressing that issue? Ain't nobody talk about that but us. Nobody. But again, they're going to sprinkle in a tad bit of truth and give you a whole bunch of BS. That's stopping now. The exhibit further claims that sculpture has been a powerful tool. And listen. The exhibit further claims that sculpture has been a powerful tool in promoting scientific racism. Listen, scientific racism, and promotes the view that race is not biological reality, but a social construct. It's time now that you guys understand that we ain't playing. It's been a while. I wanted to get more things up under my belt. But we're gonna break this down. We're gonna be here for a while. Buckle up. In fact, we ain't going nowhere but up. We going nowhere but up. Regardless of how certain people want to twist and turn the narratives, again, we just getting started. It's okay. You can hate all you want. Truth was going to prevail regardless. Regardless. That's why Dane Calloway is still here. Y'all wanted to ask? That's why. That's why I'm still here. We was just starting the mission. So here we go. Let's play this.
A perfect example of critical race theory was recently published by the Smithsonian Institution. This document alleged that concepts such as hard work, rational thinking, and the nuclear family and belief in God were not values that unite all Americans, but were instead aspects of whiteness. This is offensive and outrageous to Americans of every ethnicity, and it's especially harmful to children of minority backgrounds who should be uplifted, not disparaged. Teaching this horrible doctrine to our children is a form of child abuse in the truest sense of those words.
Did y'all listen? This was Donald Trump in 2020. Listen.
A perfect example of critical race theory was recently published by the Smithsonian Institution. This document.
Now, don't forget that I also was, we still are. Shout out to Cube. Ice Cube is still my brother, man. That's my brother. Okay, and don't forget that he took the plan and made it his own, which was the platinum plan. So this was 2020. I need y'all to understand. We was trying then. And, I was upset. And everybody was like, nah, be patient, Dane. Be patient. I see why they telling me that, okay? But back then, I was upset. I was like, yo, why he not moving, okay? But hold up. Again, this was 2020. I want you to hear what he said. This was 2020.
A perfect example of critical race theory was recently published by the Smithsonian Institution. This document alleged that concepts such as hard work, rational thinking, and the nuclear family and belief in God were not values that unite all Americans, but were instead aspects of whiteness. This is offensive and outrageous to Americans of every ethnicity, and it's especially harmful to children of minority backgrounds who should be uplifted, not disparaged. Teaching this horrible doctrine to our children is a form of child abuse in the truest sense of those words.
Now, what you hearing from Trump was an unconfident. He was not confident because he was just learning about this stuff at this time, believe it or not. He was just learning about it at that time. As far as to what extent the problem has reached. But it was definitely people in his cabinet watching and listening. And there's people out there. Shout out to y'all. It was y'all. Y'all got the message out. Y'all did that. Round of applause for all of y'all. Y'all did that. That was major. So that was 2020. Then I showed you 2024, how he was more confident. Remember?
Tuition costs
right
at
here?
colleges and universities.
I'm not going to play it again, but I just wanted you to see the difference. Okay? So, I mean, you had time to sit back and read, sit back and learn, sit back and get taught. Now is the time to execute. Now is the time to execute. So I want to show y'all something.
President Donald Trump has issued an order accusing the Smithsonian Institution of framing American history in a, quote, improper and negative light. The order puts Vice President J.D. Vance in charge of overseeing efforts to, quote, remove improper ideology from all areas of the institution. Trump singled out the National Museum of African American History and Culture, the Women's History Museum, and the American Art Museum. Civil rights advocates, historians, and black political leaders have sharply rebuked Trump's order.
Whoa. Oh, wait a minute. Who sharply rebuked? Listen, we coming after your head. Of course you're going to be mad because you even lied about your history.
Leaders have sharply rebuked
listen
Museum
to
and the American Art Museum. Civil rights advocates, historians, and black political leaders have sharply rebuked Trump's order.
Because they all in bed with each other, getting paid from this misinformation here. Now, some of y'all gonna be like Democrat, and I believe you. I believe you on that note, because there was a lot of Democrats with this propaganda. And it goes back to the top of the so-called civil rights movement, NAACP, all of them. All of them need to be held responsible for promoting, for propagating this BS. See, anybody, it shouldn't have took, and I'm in my 30s, it shouldn't have took this long for the truth to come out when it was available back then. That just goes to show you that some of y'all got too comfortable with trying to be on the news and be in the spotlight so you could be held up in false history as a fake leader. You didn't help our people out. You helped some other people out. And you helped out your own family because you got fat pockets. I'm pretty sure ain't none of y'all have no trust where you can pass that down to your family members. They ain't have it set up that way, did they? The federal government owned Martin Luther King property. Name him. And he was Top Gun. Name them. So everybody gonna be upset, you know. But look, but listen. Hold on, listen.
I want to ask about an executive order that President Trump signed this week. He put Vice President Vance in charge of removing, quote, improper ideology from the Smithsonian Institution museums. And the order specifically calls out the African American History and Culture Museum. Now, you are the only black governor currently serving, only the third ever elected.
You are the only, hold on.
Museums. And the order specifically calls out the African American History and Culture Museum. Now, you are the only black governor currently serving, only.
You are the only black governor currently serving.
Third ever elected.
The third ever elected. You don't think that's a problem right there? You think he got room to choose? You think he got room to choose?
What do you make of that order?
I just find it deeply disrespectful that their definition of making America great again is actually challenging some of the things that makes America great in the first place.
Stop. Stop. Democrat, Maryland governor. Here. Third governor elected. You think he got room to call out his so-called fellow colleagues? Huh? No. Keep that same indoctrination in all the museums, in all the memorials, in all the schools. Keep that indoctrination in there. That's how you make America great, Westmore. Westmore? That's how you make America great, Westmore? Hey, tell you what, those of y'all out there that know how to get in contact with him, tell him Dane Calloway is offering him up right now. Offering him up. Is offering up a debate. I want him to debate me. One-on-one, professional. Professional debate on my channel. I want to debate him. Go tell Westmore Dane Calloway said, come get this work. Public. Come get this work. It ain't over. Look, it ain't over. But all I want to do is show them that we working. And how come the Republicans finally wanted to listen to us and y'all so-called Democrats in one ear and out the other, still to this very day, 2025. What is going on? Westmore? What happened? What is your ultimate goal, Westmore? When it comes to our people's history being misrepresented inside of these 21 museums or institutions that the Smithsonian controls. You heard what I said? 21 institutions that the Smithsonian controls. You mean to tell me we shouldn't come after them? Why you think we specifically targeting the Smithsonian first? Oh, I'm going down the timeline. We ain't finished. Couple other things happen. More things. We gonna get into it. And we just getting started. This is the year. We going ham. I'm not playing with them.
It's up.
I'm not playing with them. Let's finish with let's hear this. Let's hear this boule. Let's hear this boule talk.
That we are an ecosystem where we've invited people from all around the world to be part of this larger American journey.
Listen. They tell them themselves. Listen to the agenda, y'all.
Elected.
One more
What do you make of
time.
that order?
I just find it deeply disrespectful that their definition of making America great again is actually challenging some of the things that makes America great in the first place. That we are an ecosystem where we've invited people from all around the world to be part of this larger American journey. And loving your country does not mean lying about its history. Loving your country does not mean diminishing those who have helped to make this country so powerful and make America so unique in world history in the first place. And so we in your country
Wait a minute.
does not mean diminishing those who have helped to make this country so powerful and make America so unique in world history in the
world history. It went from America to world history quick, didn't it? Slick talking. This was written down. He practiced this. This was written down. He practiced this.
first place. And so we have got to put a core focus not on eliminating nor erasing history, but on lifting it up, on celebrating it, on understanding that the American mosaic is big and it's broad and it's beautiful. And that's one of the things.
Stop. Go back. Listen to the twist. I'm going to pinpoint all them boule tactics. Listen to the twist.
All around the world to be part of this larger American journey. And loving your country does not mean lying about its history. Loving your country
does not mean lying about its history. Listen, they have been lying about its history. So now he giving people an out that agrees with the lies. Listen.
Does not mean diminishing those who have helped to make this country so powerful and make America so unique in.
Hold on. To make this country so powerful, diminishing the information, keep that in mind, that the Smithsonian Institution put out there. Just this part right here. We just talk about this part right here. You mean to tell me that they're that powerful that we have to not come at them and scrutinize the misinformation that they presented to the public year after year, uncritically? We're not supposed to hold them accountable? Let them get away with it, huh? That's what you want us to do, Westmore?
Country does not mean lying about its history. Loving your country does not mean diminishing those who have helped to make this country so powerful and make America so unique in world history in the first place. And so we have got to put a core focus not on eliminating nor erasing history, but on lifting it up, on celebrating it.
But lifting it up, uncelebrating it. Listen to the twist. Not getting rid of it, but lifting it up, uncelebrated. Listen to how he quickly twisted his tongue.
On understanding that the
American
mosaic is big and it's broad and it's beautiful. And that's one of the things that makes us so powerful.
Look, and that's one of the things that makes us so powerful. The twist of the tongue. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Manipulation One-on-One with Wes Moore, just presented to CNN during a live stream where he had a writer write that for him. And he had to practice it the night before. Probably in his kitchen, drinking coffee, rubbing on his pet cat, looking at the words that was faxed to him. That's on the other side of his living room. He was going over this and over this and over this all night last night. He was practicing. He had to get ready. He about to be on a big network. I got to show up and show off. I'm a Democrat, for God's sake. I'm the governor of Maryland. I'm a stand up for the Democrats, not for his people. I gotta stop falling for the same foolery.
Standing here, I remember on my inauguration day, I actually started down at the docks in Annapolis, not just because it's beautiful. I started it there because that was one of this country's first and largest slave ports. And we had a reef.
Stop. Political move. Political move. Trying to make it seem as if he can relate to you. Right? That's a sales tactic. Look, I can relate to you. Even though that area was beautiful, I was down there where the slave ports were. Really? We got to believe you now. And in fact, why does that even matter? Just toss it in to make it seem as if he's relatable.
And then we actually marched from the docks
right after that
to the State House where I was inaugurated.
Then we actually marched. Like that count? Oh, you marched. Nigga, you walked. Wasn't nobody lifting up their legs like they were marching for real? Like they was a part of the military? Left, right, left, right. It wasn't nobody doing that. Y'all gotta stop saying march. Nigga, you walked. If you did that. And all of that was for showboating. You did that in front of cameras to do what exactly? Because what got done? What you gonna say? Oh, the Smithsonian was built because of that? What you got to say? Oh, I became governor because of that. Because you kissed ass and they needed a puppet. And you fit the bill. Stop being corny.
As the first black governor of this of our state. And
the first black governor. Yeah, they gave it to you. But why? Because you fit the bill, not because of your skin complexion, but they go rub in first black governor. No, they wanted to make sure that you fit the bill. If you don't fit a particular criteria that they set up for an individual to showcase when they go into these public platforms to give statements about the moves that somebody else is making and the moves that they make, and why the moves that somebody else is making is against theirs, as if they the opposition and they against the people, of course you go and propagate that BS. There's nothing but bad sociology. People ain't catching it yet. They deal with people's minds and their feelings and emotions. And he just checked off all three. That's an old sales tactic. Will you win on the pain that you allegedly receiving? Telling you how he can relate. Then all of a sudden he's swinging in for the clothes. I'm not falling for that.
Explain to people, that's not indoctrination.
Right after that. Right after that. That's not indoctrination? What?
Docks to the State House where I was inaugurated as the first black governor of this of our state. And I explain to people, that's not indoctrination.
Wait a minute. Bruh. Number one, you don't even know what indoctrination is for you to even insert indoctrination right there. But you purposely did that. So confuse the people on what indoctrination means. Because they're not going to sit up there and simply Google it. They're going to take your word for it. Because you share the same skin complexion as others, right? Or you share the same ideology as others. And, oh, no, he's okay. He's great at whatever he say is a go. Nah. That could be held up under a microscope and looked at closely as well. You ain't say nothing right there. Oh, they could relate to you. And none of that has to do with indoctrination because that ain't got nothing to do with indoctrination. That's not what that's not what it refers to. Your story? Alleged story? What about the story they was giving you? What is that called? Westmore, you know, the one that you allegedly are familiar with as to the reason why you can relate? Never thought to verify that, huh?
That's history. It's a joint collective history, and it's one that we should be celebrating, talking about the history of this country, all parts of it, flaws and all, because that's what gives America strength, and that's what makes us move forward.
Move forward.
Governor, I want to ask.
You can tell that's all diplomat stuff. That's what they move forward. Didn't we hear that with Kamala? Kamala, move forward.
About an executive order that President Trump signed this week. He put Vice President Vance in charge of removing, quote, improper ideology from the Smithsonian Institution museums. And the order specifically calls out the African American History and Culture Museum. Now, you are the only black governor currently serving, only the third.
Wait, it repeat. I'm sorry, my bad. I ain't no repeated.
And then we actually marched from as the first black governor of this of our state. And I explain to people, that's not indoctrination. That's history. It's a joint collective history, and it's one that we should be celebrating, talking about the history of this country, all parts of it, flaws and all, because that's what gives America strength, and that's what makes us move forward.
Okay. All right, so I'm gonna play something else. I wanna talk about, and yes, they're right. They're gonna put it on Vance because he did give Vance that position. Okay, but keep in mind, it's other sides to that are involved. Okay, but that, he just overseeing that particular portion, right? But it's not what you think it is. It's not to the point where it's whatever he say goes. It's not like that. That's what some people would say. Oh, it's whatever JD Vance want. Right? Keep in mind, JD Vance younger. Okay? JD Vance is young. If I'm not mistaken, he probably like 40, 41. So he a couple years older than me. But that's not the end all be all. He not the one that say, all right, I'll sign and prove this. It's the, let me reach back to some experts who are unbiased enough to give me unbiased information that is the truth, that could be properly displayed and represent America to the fullest without it being rationalized to whatever ideology they want. That's the indoctrination part, to whatever they want to put out there. That's why they're calling it improper ideology. These are things that no one agreed to. These people started creating your history for you, and you never approved it. To go back to the thumbnail, Trump approved this already, y'all, March 27th. But it's been in the works for years, and I've been telling y'all that. So this ain't nothing brand new. I want to play this video, and I want y'all to listen closely. Hold on, wait. Let me hold on before I play that. Hold on. I almost forgot. Let me play this one real quick.
There's a new Trump executive order that charges the Vice President J.D. Vance with eliminating, quote, anti-American ideology and anything that he finds to be, quote, improper from the Smithsonian. And of particular note here, the executive order names the Smithsonian Museum of African American History as well as the Planned Museum of Women's History. What's going on here?
Hold up. Now, I want y'all to look closely. Her name is Michelle Norris, MSNBC Senior Contributing Editor. It's a reason why I pointed this out, because usually they will hand select somebody for a narrative to be pushed. But listen closely.
Well, with the stroke of a pen, they are deciding what is deemed to be fully American and what is deemed to be anti-American. And they're going to have a fight here. There are a number of people who are very proud of the Smithsonian, very proud of the way the Smithsonian has widened its aperture to tell a fuller story of America. Because the story that we tell ourselves as Americans is important. And it's important that it is a full and complete story and reflects the histories, even the difficult moments in history, but reflects the histories of as many people as possible. Now, the Smithsonian gets about 62%, specifically the National Museum of African American History and Culture gets about 62% of its money from the federal government. Mm-hmm. The museums are, when he targets the National Museum of African American History and Culture, that is a very successful museum. It opened just a few years ago. More than 197 donors raised $297 million to make sure that they were able to open the doors, and a much, larger number of smaller donors. So when they start to narrow the story that is told, it's bad for America in terms of the history that we tell ourselves. It's bad for the Smithsonian also.
Hold on, listen. One more time.
National Museum of African American History and Culture. That is a very successful museum. It opened just a few years ago. More than 197 donors raised $297 million to make sure that they were able to open the doors, and a much, larger number of smaller donors. So when they start to narrow the story that is told, it's bad for America in terms of the history that we tell ourselves. It's bad for the Smithsonian also in terms of the way it opens its doors and how it conducts business. If people don't see that institution as something that reflects their story also, maybe they spend less time there. Maybe they spend less money in those gift shops. Maybe we don't see the Smithsonian being the gold standard for museums that it has been over many years, and most particularly recently, as they started to tell a broader, richer, wider, more full, and more accurate story of American history.
Look.
A broader, richer, wider, more full, and more accurate story of American history.
A more accurate story of American history. It's time. It's been past time, because they have been telling a lot. Now, that's not to say that the Smithsonian doesn't know. Okay, keep in mind that the Smithsonian has 21 museums. I need you guys to understand that, and that's including I think it was like 14 to 17 education and research centers. We came after them too, and we came after the National Zoo. We came at the monuments. You about to start seeing that as well. Like, for example, the Washington Monument to the U.S. Capitol. You go see that. And it was something else. I'm making sure I'm trying not to forget anything. The National Museum of American History and Culture, National Air and Space Museum, and I know I'm missing a couple of them. You can look them up. But the Smithsonian got 21 of them. Okay. American Women's History Museum. There's gonna be some more that's gonna pop up in my mind. But the point is that we were coming after all of their monuments and memorials, and what I need you guys to understand is also the federal parks. We're coming after the Department of Interior. Now, that's something you guys may not have known yet, because they're not. I'm not sure. Hold on. Let me not say that they're not telling you guys that in the news, because I'm not exactly sure if they are, but that's also involved. Like, the Department of Interior is there. We want to restore the federal parks back to the indigenous people, because they have a lot of land, and they shouldn't. That's a lot of stolen land. So now y'all already know about my ultimate goal anyway. Grab that land back. So don't get it twisted. Don't think that that's not in the works neither. Okay? I'm going to try my hand to do the best thing that I know that I could do. And with the help of every single one of y'all, we could get this done, because it can't just be me trying to do something. It got to be all of us trying to put in that real great effort into doing something that we know will work, because we know that it's right. The right thing is what I'm referring to. The best thing to do, okay, is up for scrutiny. We talking about the right thing to do. Like, what's right? What's wrong? What's wrong is the propaganda that they've been teaching our people over these years. The so-called white culture, the so-called individualism that they wanted to promote throughout these problematic museums that had to deal with telling our history, our culture. We never had an agreement on that. Well, now it's time for us to sit at the table and fill up the majority of the seats. And I mean by at least 99%. Okay? So, and they know that. They know I don't have to sugarcoat anything. I don't got to bite my tongue. I don't got to twist the neck. I don't got to do any of that. They know where I stand. They know where we stand. They know what needs to be done. I'm not about to sugarcoat it. It doesn't have to be, I'm proud of it and blah, 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 blah. No. What it is I'm tired of the lies. I want things to change now. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. Rather, if they want to call it a revised version of history, and as long as you know that we are purging systematic racism out of their narratives, out of their ideologies. They called it, well, what Trump called it was anti-American ideology. Trump agreed that was anti-American ideology. That's major. So on a major scale, we getting this done. And look, and we ain't had to get nobody's votes. We ain't had to beg people to sign some agreement. Here, make sure your vote counts. Here, sign this petition. We ain't had to do none of that. Because the thing is that, yeah, I talk shit, but I back it up. I got every single bit of information that I ever put out and things that I didn't put out. And so does my wife. And we could go all the way to court with this shit and win. For example, I'm going to show y'all something because we was dangling in people's faces, okay, to let y'all know, step up. We dare you. My wife and I both debunked Harriet Tubman and Nat Turner. Now, everybody started turning their nose up to that. And I said, fine, forget it one way or another. We going to make them be held accountable. So CNN reported the National Park Service removes, hold on.
Set it on fire.
Hold on. Removes references to Harriet Tubman from Underground Railroad webpage. Listen.
Set it on fire.
Hold on. Hold on. I told y'all already about this. We don't got to go back over this. Me and my wife have a book out. We already put all the information out that we needed to put out to debunk these falsified stories that they gave us. Harriet Tubman is not a real person. I already admitted that, and neither is Nat Turner. Nat Turner and Harriet Tubman are not real people. This is not a picture of Harriet Tubman at all. Now, I told everybody who this was back then, okay? Because I told you then when I showed you that the Harriet Tubman information was getting ready to come out in larger mass, who this person was, okay? Because they admitted it. You have to cross-reference everything. What happens is a lot of our people don't. Let me tell you what happened, because it's not only happening in this particular character's case, that happens for a lot of other people that they put out in the forefront prominently that you did not go back and verify. What they will do, and this is another thing that you need to be doing for your own genealogy. What they've been doing is collecting photos that have been taken by other photographers that run around in different states, and this is how they made their money. That was a hustle, especially around that time. We talking 1920s, 1930s, 1940s. It was like you would see photographers more often than you would see shoe shiners at that time. Okay, and a lot of these pictures have been archived by the National Archives. Listen to me. And they have not been claimed by the indigenous people because the indigenous people didn't even know that those pictures existed of their family members and being archived in the National Archives. So these pictures were blank, no names, the only time you had dates is when the photographer put together a portfolio and named the entire portfolio after whatever theme that they were doing at that time and then left a date. Okay? That doesn't mean that the photographer took a picture of Harriet Tubman because the photographer would have labeled it that way. And it would have been archived in his or her portfolio at that time with that person's information. See, my wife and I went as far back as to show you what the photographer was calling this person, describing this person, and what time period and all. We showed you all of this. Again, go get the book. That's why we dared them. Tell me something. Harriet Tubman got family members. Where? Where? What you mean? Where? And then we showed you how they changed up the names, Araminta Ross, Harriet Davis, Harriet Tubman. We showed you that it was Sarah Bradford that created that story. And it was through an act of Congress, and they passed it. The same way you got to copyright your book through the Library of Congress is the same way that they copyrighted her story, by an act of Congress. But see, I'm telling y'all, we took, I forgot how many years it took for us to do Harriet Tubman. I know Nat Turner took us like 4.5 years to get all of that stuff done. I think Harriet Tubman was around that same time. But we went viral like 4 or 5 times because of this. And we wanted to show you guys, look, we not playing. We shook up the net. Now, they didn't retracted this because it was some Democrats that got upset. Oh no, y'all can't do that. Hold on, they got to go through the proper channels. So they retracted it. We not finished. I told y'all, we not finished. So they put it back, but it's not the same. Okay, it's not, and this is real, by the way. This is actually CNN. But I'm just jumping ahead to let you know that they eventually did retract this because a lot of the Democrats are complaining. But it was more than that. It's deeper than that. It's deeper than that. They know what this would expose. But see, I'm going to tell you right now, the National Park Service wouldn't have jumped if it was real to remove it. If it was real, the National Park Service wouldn't have jumped. Number one, why is the National Park Service over Harriet Tubman's information? See there? We told you that too. We told you who was in control, who was getting funded, and we told you Sarah Bradford's lawyer. Don't forget, Sarah Bradford's lawyer getting it too. Still to this day, they getting paid off for Harriet Tubman. I told you Thomas Ruffin Gray is getting paid off for the Nat Turner story. Well, he was, not anymore. They didn't set up Nat Turner's story like how they did Harriet Tubman, where it would be passed down to an estate. Keep in mind, Sarah Bradford is from Geneva. She not from here. And she's the one that wrote the story of Harriet Tubman? Not Harriet Tubman's next door neighbor, some white lady that was nearby. You talking about a lady from Geneva wrote Harriet Tubman. That should be alarming to you right then and there. And I told you, I exposed the Underground Railroad. Y'all wanted to turn y'all nose up at that. And then somebody came out with what was it, y'all? Was it a movie or something like that on Hulu? Dang, you gotta watch that. You gotta watch that. They saying the exact same thing you were saying about the Underground Railroad in the movie. I said, I told you what the Underground Railroad was. They tried to make it seem like it was about houses and them going downstairs on certain houses, running away, going down in the basements and hiding. That's BS. It was the Underground Railroad, literally. The pneumatic transit existed before any of these these foreigners, all of them, got here. Before all of them got here. They just tried to turn it around and told you that them Asians made them railroads. That's a lie. And we exposed that. We showed you the map. We showed you the map. The map, how come the map resemble? Look, and this is the reason why you can't pull us the whole map of I'm talking about the entire thing of the Mississippi River, because it lined right up. Identical to the original Underground Railroad map. Identical, spreading across all of America. Just like the Mississippi River. Ain't no foreigner doing that. They don't know these territories. And then they gave you a hint of that because with Harriet Tubman's story, they told you that she went from Maryland to Canada? How she know how to go there? By how? Was it a train? How did she make it there? Tell me. See, and they don't want you to see that they calling her a conductor. Think about it. A conductor is what? Now, what y'all going to think is, and which is true, that it's going to be people that are managing the train, right? But think about it. A conductor, think about it. It sheds light, brings light. But see, if somebody else is behind that, shining that light, like police officers shine a bright light on you to blind you so you can't see them, that could be used against you. In a spiritual sense, blind you with so-called light so you won't ever know the truth. Yes, we was that. Now you know this was us. You know this was us. We not finished. I'm just letting you know right now. Harriet Tubman is coming down. We taking that down. You lied about that. And we got the proof. You lied about that. And we gonna correct that Underground Railroad story. That was real, but we gonna state the real one. And you gonna stop hiding that. You gonna also stop hiding white slavery. You got all of our people out here thinking that we was the only slaves. Meanwhile, we were side by side. And it was more of them as slaves than us. Way more. Census coming over here, 1790, calling them free whites. I showed you that they only classified people as white as a citizen of America from 1790 to 1952. All of that is coming out. The whole thing. We're not stopping. You gonna know who the indigenous people of America is here. You gonna know it. We coming after all that misinformation they've been given. And they ain't gonna have no choice but to report it. But yeah, they retracted this, y'all. They put this back up. Because that did so much. Look, I just wanted to, I was so happy. I was like, hey, we not finished yet. Listen, I'm telling you, we just slapping you on your cheek. On your face right now. The cheek of your face. Let me be direct. Okay? That's what we doing right now. That's what we do. And then now we're going to reach back and knock all your teeth out. Haymaker style. Watch. We ain't finished. So I'm just giving you an update. How 2025 looking for us indigenous people. It's different, baby. It's different. I want to play something. Because I just wanted to let y'all know this is not it. And yes, I'm involved. Yes, we are involved. Yes. It's time for that to come down. Been past time. And again, I'm not a Democrat nor Republican. Neither did I sign up to become a government agent. I didn't have to sell my soul for this. And I didn't sell my soul for this. I didn't sell my people out. I didn't have to march. I didn't have to, I probably had to do some yelling because I'm yelling right now. I ain't had to put up no signs. I just had to keep being consistent because there was people out there learning. Straight up, they was learning. And I appreciate that, y'all. Thank you for getting that message out. We not finished, but thank you. This is a great start. Yeah, where them paying goofies at now? Where all my haters at? I know y'all out there. Look, and I appreciate y'all too, because guess what? Y'all gave me more firepower. Y'all gave me more firepower. I kept putting foot to tail. I didn't stop. And we ain't gonna stop. It's not about that. It's about the truth. And if you don't like it, oh well. And see, because that's what they were doing with us with the lies. They was like, if you don't like it, oh well, do something about it. See, and our people sat back and ain't do nothing about it. They thought they were doing something about it, getting everybody mixed in. No, this ain't got nothing to do with them. This us. We step up to the plate. It's time now. I told you, it's time now. So, but what about this? What about that? We getting this shit done right now. Again, you want to? I'm about to play another video. But before I move on to this video, and yes, all of this is correlating information. It's about this right here. I need you to join the 13% community server. It's free. It's free. It's free. It's free. It's free. Join the 13% community server. Now, if you're gonna bring something to the table, tell me. Get inside of that section that asks you that question and you explain it the best way possible, because if you're trying to get on board and you serious, do it. Because it is going to be some people that's going to be left behind, because it's a bigger goal than just changing this narrative here. It's a bigger goal. Okay? I'm just letting you know that. Way bigger goal. And we heading straight for that goal. And we winning. Okay. Let me show this. But before I do,
set it on fire. 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 Fire.
Let me make sure, because I know I haven't been man, I appreciate all of the people that did click the subscribe button, hit that notification bell. I appreciate that. We not ending. I got a couple. I want to play one more thing, y'all. Hold up. I just want to give people the shout outs, because I know it's been a minute. Shout out to Blue Dreamer, been a member for 25 months in a row. Shout out to the cheapest. She said, talk your shit. Absolutely.
Fire. 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 Fire.
Tama Bar, I appreciate that. Thank you for becoming a member. Jay Young, thank you for the gifted.
Fire.
Ace Boom Coon, been a member for 53 months in a row. He said, Wado, I need you. Wado, Ace, what's going on? Blue Dreamer, thank you for the super chat. She said, talk your shit, G.
It's up.
We doing it now. ASAP, it's time. I'm very thankful. This is a huge blessing for our people right here. Huge. This is powerful. And we not finished. The Real I Spy, thank you for being a member for 20 months in a row. O's, Edulite, I appreciate that. Thank you for the super chat. And Faith is all we need. Thank you for the super chat. She said we are not the minority. We are the one. Absolutely. Absolutely. Invest in your business. Thank you for becoming a member. Faith is all we need. Doubled up. She said the truth cannot stay silent. Absolutely. We gotta be loud as possible. Yes. Miss Wanda Austin, thank you for the super chat. God showed me, Dane, you're telling the truth about all. I'm here for all, and I've been watching. I had one question, but God showed me. I get all now. She get all of it now. W's in the chat for Miss Wanda. Man, what?
Fire.
Isaiah, thank you for the super chat. He said, go tell him right now. ASAP. Thank you, Isaiah. Faith is all we need. Tripled up. I appreciate that. They are embarrassed. The truth has been revealed. Yep, them sellouts. Yep. We calling them out, knocking them out. Thank you, Isaiah, for being a member for 3 months in a row. We got new content for the members coming up too, y'all. Pharaoh Kid been a member for 59 months in a row. He said his story, right? His story. That's what we getting rid of. Kalea, thank you for the super chat. She said Westmore is a walking contradiction, man. Faith is all we need. Quadrupled up. Thank you. You said, I know they dumb smart ass took the bait and were titled achievers. They sell out. They ain't playing. Hold up. Mahogany, thank you for the super chat. She said, Masons and Black Greek fraternity uses the concept of chasing the light and blinded by the light. Yeah.
Fire.
Yep. That whole time. See, I'm so glad more and more of our people are pointing that out and seeing it for what it really is. Bruce Moore Jr., thank you for the gifted. I appreciate that right there. I'm so glad that y'all seeing that now. Ray's, thank you for being a member. William, thank you for being a member. J.O., 13 months. Queen, 24 months. Fasha, 23 months. Ricky Cherry in the building, 58 months. He said, talk to him, Chief. Let's get it. I'm about to play this drum right now, y'all. Chris, thank you for the, what is this called, y'all? The Cash App. Chris, thank you for the Cash App. Justin, thank you for the Cash App. Hassandra, thank you for the Cash App. All right, hold up, wait a minute. Let me get this right real quick. All right, so listen to this. This is a great breakdown. The reason why I say this is a great breakdown. Let me not even. Okay. Let me play it. We gonna play it.
Not been reported. Donald Trump wants to change the culture of the United States, and we're going to.
I don't even like this guy like that. But listen to this. Watch this.
He's going to come up and analyze as well. Okay, so the first play is getting liberalism out of the system. So Washington, D.C., New York City, and Los Angeles, the three most powerful centers in America and in the world, are dominated by liberal people. There's no doubt about that. There's no question. It's not debatable. Liberal people dominate those places. Trump is trying to root that out. Huge undertaking. Here's an example. On Thursday, March 27th, the president signs an executive order about the Smithsonian Institution, which is the largest museum in the world. Obviously, everybody's heard about it. It has history, it has culture, it has just about everything, okay? Trump believes that liberals run the show and they are putting propaganda into the museum.
Clearly.
That's what he believes.
Clearly.
I haven't been there in a while, so I can't really weigh in on it today.
Oh, come on now, Bill. See, this is what I'm saying. Some of that, I'm gonna let this play, but come on, ain't nowhere in the world. Everybody know that that's propaganda in the museums. Come on now.
But I do know that 90% of executives in Washington, D.C. are liberal. I know that for sure. Here's what the executive order about the Smithsonian said, quote, the vice president, in consultation with the assistant to the president for domestic policy, Lindsay Halligan Esquire, shall work to effectuate the policies of this order, the executive order, through his role on the Smithsonian Board of Regents, where...
Yes, that's right. We were the original Masons. Yes, we were the original mound builders. Yes, that is absolutely true. Yes, we had skull and bones before any of these people. But these people that are out here now are not our people. They have been indoctrinated with foreigners' ideology of how that was supposed to go when it came to spirituality. Okay, so what they know now about that, as far as Masons are concerned, is incorrect as well. Okay, that's somebody else that has came in and infiltrated all of that. Okay, and claimed that it was theirs, made it a religion, twisted and turned it, and no, got to do away with that as well.
Where J.D. Vance already
ain't none of them say.
With respect to the Smithsonian Institution, its museums, education, research centers, and the National Zoo, including by seeking to remove improper ideology and such properties, shall recommend to the president any additional actions necessary to fully effectuate such policies, unquote. Well, the words improper ideology, whoa. So every leftist in the country knows what that is, and they don't like it. Roll the tape.
So the idea that he's going after the Smithsonian is absurd. I mean, it's an amazing institution, the Smithsonian. And by the way, millions of people come there every year to look at it. And the fact that he wants to shut it down or cut it and gut it like he's doing to everything is of course on message for him.
No, you know what, young? No, right now, no. Stop. Just stop. You wrong. This ain't for you to give your opinion on. This is for our people. They are specifically pointing out what they against, right? But they keeping it vague for a reason. You got to break down what improper ideology we are referring to. Make that the news. How about that? Make that the news. Make it the news. I dare you. I can't wait.
Fire.
It's already happening, so we ain't gotta wait. I'll tell you that right now.
Against what we should be doing.
All right, so that's Congressman from New Jersey, Guttheimer. He's a Trump hater. He's actually running for governor of New Jersey. Anyway.
Another one.
Trump isn't trying to shut it down. Got it? Maybe. You know, he does not want a left-wing culture on display in the Smithsonian Institution. Does. Now, I think he'd probably be okay with a right-wing culture, and that might be problematic. So I'm following a story here. The other cultural change is how the federal government spends our money. And this is obviously, you know all about Doge and Musk and all of that. That's a cultural change. Because what we have at the federal level now is a massive amount of money going to certain entities, many of which are left-wing. It's undeniable.
Now, I mean, that's Democrat. Can y'all just say Democrat?
Shut that down completely. That's cultural. No money goes into trans this or gay that or any of that stuff. Right?
And
so this again has got the leftists furious. Go.
Doge did not exist 2 years ago. 19-year-olds were not raiding the Treasury 2 years ago. People who have no idea with medical background have not been hauling in and creating kangaroo courts for scientists to dismiss them 2 years ago. That started happening now.
All right, so Ms. Ocasio-Cortez is a socialist, and they don't want any cuts to any spending programs. They want more spending, all right, because that's how socialists get power and keep power. Keep feeding the trough of entitlements, throwing the federal dollars into certain precincts that will vote Democratic.
And he's holding them accountable. This is accountability. Holding them accountable. You were literally weaponizing things that were against the American people. Of course, they're not going to see that as a weapon being used against them. But all that DEI, all these transgender programs, all of that social engineering, like I said, yes, it needs to go. It needs to go. Anybody that agrees with keeping that is okay with being indoctrinated, is okay with going along with some stranger's ideology that has not been ever held accountable in history, according to what you would see. Thank you for being a member for 16 months. Gina, thank you for being a member for 26 months. Evo, 27 months. Darren, 26 months. The Salon for Natural Hair, I like that, has become a member. I appreciate that. Shop, thank you for the super chat. Levante been a member for 33 months in a row. It's time, he said, it's time to know our true identity, our true selves, and stop allowing others to tell us who we are in history. Okay? We are indigenous. Woo! And primitive here, bruh. No question. Love Tash Beauty. Been a member for 10 months in a row. What up, sister? Man, listen. It's time, y'all. It's absolutely time. Ariel, thank you. I appreciate that, Ariel. Matter of fact, that deserves a big bomb. Oh, Lord, I didn't had a few things. All right, there we go. I had a few things up. Tyrese, thank you for becoming a member. Oh, Therese. All right, here we go.
That's been going on now since, I don't know, Woodrow Wilson?
Hold on. There it is.
Get power.
What'd I tell you?
And keep power.
What'd I say? Compulsory education started with who?
Throwing the federal dollars into certain
What'd I say?
precincts that will vote Democratic. That's been
It's
going
time,
on
y'all. I told
since,
you.
I don't know.
I told you.
Woodrow Wilson?
Woodrow Wilson.
Been going on for more than 100 years. FDR had to do what he did. I'm not making an excuse for him, but he had to get the safety nets in there to deal with the Depression. But the Democratic Party...
But he also created a whole bunch of bullshit.
Any cuts, except if it's the Pentagon or Trump's wardrobe or something like that. No, we want more. $36 trillion debt, let's get it up to 50. Okay, because if the capitalistic system collapses, which it will if the spending doesn't get under control, then socialism can come right in. Capitalism, I can't have that. So this is a complicated thing that has not been presented to the American people. So Donald Trump is trying to reform, some say obliterate, I would probably agree with obliterate.
Yeah.
Leftist power. That's what he's trying to do. And everybody needs to understand it, because that is why he is so hated. All right? It's not like the other presidents who spoke it. Oh, I don't like this, I don't like that. Oh, blah, blah, blah.
And they didn't do nothing about it. Mm-hmm.
And his opposition, boy. Now,
I'm not gonna lie.
All this
He the only one that made moves like this. This is me speaking from an unbiased perspective. Trump is the only one that made this happen, as far as a president is concerned. Now, that's not to say that other presidents wouldn't have made this happen, but I'm sure, our people probably didn't think to do this because I don't know why this wasn't an option. Y'all got so tired of with them Democrats thinking they was doing something for you and they never did. I don't know. They talk a good game, never show it. Malcolm X told you not to hang with them Democrats. You did it anyway, hard-headed. He told you the only reason why the Democrats was around was because of you. If it wasn't for you, there wouldn't have been no Democrats no more. They got you to thank here. That's historically known. No ifs, ands, or buts about it.
DEI has already had an executive order. Diversity, equity, inclusion. Now, I wrote in a message of the day, I hope you read it on BillO'Reilly.com. It's free. You got to go there every morning and get it. There's nothing wrong with diversity. Diversity is a strength because different people bring different experiences and different creativity into projects. All right? So diversity is fine with me. I run 3 corporations and I want them to be as diverse as I can get them. But I'm not going to favor any group, skin color, or gender. I'm not.
Here we go.
Because that's equity. And that's wrong. It violates the Constitution. You don't hire, promote, you don't accept into university people on the basis of what they look like.
And they still don't do it.
There has been historical atrocities against those people. You don't do that because you're punishing someone else who may be better qualified.
The reason why I agree with that is because when it comes to corporations, you want to hire the best person. It's not based on their skin complexion. It's based on what skill they possess. You want to hire the best person. That's straight up with any corporation, no matter their gender, no matter their skin complexion. That's how it should be. You should not be forced to, like how they do in the NFL, for example, right? I forgot what it's called. They got a little program that's similar to DEI where they got to make sure that they interview a so-called black coach before they hire a more qualified one that you would probably disagree with. I'm going to tell you right now, because that's opening the door for even more racism to be inserted. DEI has never been to a point where it helped our people out in favor of our people. If that was the case, for example, Wes Moore wouldn't be the third governor appointed that's of color in history. Yeah, the Ronnie Rule. That's right, the Ronnie Rule. Y'all right. Thank you, chat. I appreciate y'all. That Ronnie Rule is what I was referring to when it came to the NFL, where they have to interview so-called black candidates for those positions. Coach, assistant coach, it ain't never going to be for owner, okay? They only going to give you a partial cut of the ownership, okay? Just ask Magic Johnson. But that's how it is. Like, it's no, and when it comes to you being inclusive, when it comes to the equity portion of it, that's basically attempting to make it seem as if they're doing something for our people because of what we went through in the past. And that never equated to that. Affirmative action failed. When they revamped it to DEI, it failed. It only worked out for certain people, and it wasn't our people, it was allegedly written for. It never went in our favor at all. You got hired because you were the best fit. Straight up. That's how it is. Demeter, thank you for the cash app. I appreciate that. Thank you, Cheetahs. So here we go.
Now, the inclusion thing, I'm for that. I want everybody to have a fair shot at prosperity in America. Everybody. But equity, no. So, yesterday, Stephen A. Smith and I were on stage in front of 1,300 people debating equity. Go.
Okay.
You don't correct historical problems.
I got a feeling Stephen A. Smith gonna be running for some political position. I just got that feeling. Stephen A. Smith is doing a lot of promo runs when it comes to politics. So he gonna be keep that in mind, y'all. Sooner or later, we gonna see him probably within the next 2, maybe less years, maybe even more. We gonna see him try to go for some type of political position. Something is up with him. Okay? And it's gonna seem cool now, but I got a feeling they're gonna be using him just like how they use all the rest of our people that share the same skin complexion as us to fit their narrative. Like, I wouldn't be surprised that he's a Democrat right now. It wouldn't surprise me. And they already using him as a puppet. But let me hear what he say real quick.
Contemporary problems. You don't correct unfairness in the past by being unfair now. All right? If you are a college, an employer, or anybody else, if you have an opportunity and you're going to say, well, I'm not going to take the best person unless they're the right color, or they're trans, or they're this, or they're that. That's wrong. Okay, period.
All right.
Wrong.
May I retort?
Sure.
Hold on. I got him. Hold on. When you talk about DEI, you brought up race, gender, stuff like that. You glossed over the fact that I pointed out how the biggest beneficiaries were white women.
Right.
My point to you.
Hold up. Okay, I agree with that. He said that the biggest beneficiaries of DEI is white women. Now, I agree with that. The reason why is because how DEI, that's why I said it worked out for certain people. Because it's not about empowering the whole Okay, it's not about empowering Americans. It's not about that. It's about empowering certain people. So they isolating it down to people that they can leverage politically, that can be leveraged politically. And that isolates you even more, even further deep into the hole, even further. They pushing you further away. It was always working against you.
Hold on, wait a minute though. My point to you is this. Who's benefiting from it?
Exactly.
If you have a policy in place and the very people that were supposed to have an advantage because of it ain't the ones that have the advantage because of it.
Right.
And that's not what you're articulating to the American public. You have now engaged in deceit. You have given the impression that if it's a black person, they were hired under DEI. If it was the Asian person, they were hired under DEI. If it's somebody other than white males,
there's no impression. That's what equity is. But what equity is favoritism look, and you should be on my side because you made it on your own. You didn't make it with equity.
That's true.
All right.
That's true. Both of them, okay, both of them was correct. I don't know why they try to make it seem like they were. Well, maybe I need to see the whole segment because maybe they disagreed on a certain part. I need to see that whole segment. But no, both of them are right. In this sense, both of them are right as far as breaking that part down as to the reason why what equity was about. It's separating the people. It's like, it's what I say politically leveraging a certain people. And it was mainly white women that benefited from that the most, as far as them getting better positions, better pay. Yeah, that was it. Because our people, I'm going to tell you right now, I see a lot of needy women that's fresh out of college. Okay. I'm talking about got degree after degree after degree. And they getting paid less than 50 grand, less than 60 grand, less than 70 grand, no matter what position they pick here. And they work their tails off. Okay. That I'm not playing. I see more needy women celebrating the fact that they graduated college or some university. And right after that, they struggling. They're in the same boat. And and they've been doing that to us. Don't get me wrong. I'm not excluding the men. They've been doing that to us. But you would have thought that they would have been helping out our women at least with DEI, at least. But no, they don't want them in positions of power anyway. So yes, they're gonna isolate them even further into the entrapment of misidentifying and separation and false unity. The DEI was a tool. DEI was a scam. There we go. It was a scam. They scammed y'all into thinking that this was for y'all. And it never was. Historically. Never was. Even since affirmative action. Don't forget it, just in case y'all don't know why it's the reason why I'm saying affirmative action. Affirmative action was first before DEI. DEI took its place. It's the same thing. Even back then. Okay? Somebody got eliminated because of affirmative action here. How it was supposed to go, okay, didn't happen because they eliminate. Who they eliminate, y'all? Who they get rid of? Talk to me, chat. Who they get rid of? Let me make sure y'all paying it. Who they get rid of? Come on, chat. 30 seconds on the clock. 30 seconds on the clock, chat. 30 seconds on the clock. Where is it at? Where my...
Yeah, DNA, let that shit bang.
I'm waiting. There it is. No, who started got taken out because of that. That's right. Y'all right. No. Y'all right. Y'all right. Y'all right. John F. Kennedy. John F. Kennedy. Executive Order 109. I believe it was either. Hold on, let me be right and exact. I believe it was 24. Hold on, wait. No, 109.25. Executive Order 109.25. Okay. Check. Let's keep it pushing.
Because you made it on your own. You didn't make it with equity. All right. So that was... And Stephen A. and I are friends. I mean, but this is what America should be. He wasn't mad. We had a great...
Okay. All right. I mean, of course, he going to try to... I mean, I understand because he got to pedal to the so-called black people. He got to pedal to the needy because he don't want to get, he don't want to get beat up by people online that's going to come after him. Even white folks will come after him because they will try to twist this narrative up. I don't like how society is going. Like, we got to make sure that the narrative stays firm onto what we're presenting to the people because they can twist it and try to say, oh, no, he went this way, he went that way. Like, for example, during those videos I was putting out on Trump and Kamala at that time, every time I put out a Kamala video, people thought I was for Trump. Every time I put out a Trump video, people thought I was with Kamala. It was like, you know what I'm saying? It was like, yo, chill, bro. Like, I'm not for any of them. I'm telling you what's going on. I'm biasly, and I'm telling both sides. But yeah, I just want y'all to let that sink in that he mentioned that Woodrow Wilson, he ain't see that type of misrepresentation dealing with these ideologies inside of the school curriculums, as an example, and the curriculums of all institutions having to deal with America's history and culture and how it affect, or how it benefited rather, only particular people. Yeah, he brought up Woodrow Wilson. It started with him. And I showed you guys that Woodrow Wilson came out of his mouth at that same time that Donald Trump was referring to. I'm going to play that video. I'm actually glad I thought about that. And he came out with that. Hold on, let me pull this up. Let me make sure I got it to the side. Woodrow Wilson was telling y'all that he was only going to leave 1% of the liberal education. You're only going to leave 1% of liberal education. Hold on. I'm pulling it up right now. All right, I'm making sure I got that. All right, boom. He was only going to leave, the liberal education for 1% of the people. I apologize. He was only going to leave the liberal education for 1% of the people. I was trying to get this video up real quick. Yeah, I apologize. I had to make sure I was doing it correctly. But yeah, that's what Woodrow Wilson was doing. Now, what you guys got to understand, there was other people before him. Don't forget that he mentioned Roosevelt. It was a couple other people before him. I went into that before. I'm not trying to pull it away from it. But I just want you to understand that was around the same time period that Trump is referring to right here. 1 second. Right here.
At the table, and we're going to have great trade, and we're going to have a very strong country. Our country is going to be at a level that has maybe never been, or maybe, our country was the strongest, believe it or not, from 1870 to 1913. You know why? It was all tariff-based. We had no income tax. Then in 1913, some genius came up with the idea of let's charge the people of our country, not...
Wait a minute. Now, that's what I'm referring to. I'm not referring to when he thought it was great. I'm referring to the part that he thought this right here. Then he said some genius in 1913.
Country, not foreign countries that are ripping off our country. And the country was never relatively was never that kind of wealth. We had so much wealth, we didn't know what to do with our money. We had meetings, we had committees, and these committees worked tirelessly to study one subject. We have so much money. What are we going to do with it? Who are we going to give it to? And
okay. Again,
all tariff-based. We had no income tax. Then in 1913, some genius came up with the idea of let's charge the people of our country, not foreign countries that are ripping off our country.
Who? 1913. Listen, 1913. Who was he referring to? Who was the president in 1913, chat? Talk to me. Who was the president? It was Woodrow Wilson. Y'all gonna learn. We coming after them, y'all. We coming after them. We just getting started. Let me drop a bomb for all of y'all. It's not over. See, as long as we on the same page, look, I'm telling y'all, it don't matter your skin complexion. As long as we on the same page and you know that I'm about for my people to finally get back what's ours, okay? And you for that as well because you know for a fact that there's a difference between being wrong and being right, no matter your skin complexion. You know, wait a minute, Dane. You've been right this entire time. I'm for you, brother. Okay, and you for our people that actually has that same mindset. I'm for you too, brother. I'm for you too, sister. Okay, so again, when it comes to unity, it got to be unified in the right way. It can't be unified when the wrong propaganda is out there, because it can be taken to both ways. What the wrong thing, the lies, okay, the misinformation, the miseducation, misidentification, misclassification, disenfranchisement, Heater Iska, all of this stuff is existing, okay? Compulsory education, all of this stuff has to be held up for scrutiny. Okay? And it got to be eliminated in order for the real to get back in. Now, of course, I can't do everything by myself. I would appreciate if you guys step up and assist us here. Please, whatever way that you, if you can, think you could, listen, whatever it is. I'm not about to be begging for your money. I'm not, this is not about that. I'm just, whatever it is that you can do, I need you to step up and tell us. Okay? This is my call out to you. We are not finished. We still have way more we have to do. Way more. Okay? And I'm trying my hardest to do what I can do. Because I do, my wife and I, we have tons of this information. And we trying our best to do what we can. If it's more that if you can bring something to the table, say it. Brenda, thank you for becoming a member. Callus King, thank you for being a member for 35 months in a row. Lawrence, thank you for the super chat. Patrice, thank you for being a member for 15. You said everything they hid in the dark is starting to come to the light. It's up. You already know, Patrice. Indigenous Children Storytime, thank you for the super chat. I like that name. Demeter, 20 months in a row. She said thank you. Wado. Absolutely. William, thank you for the super chat. You said thank you for your hard work and dedicated service teaching the masses. Hopefully one of these days you and I will have a chance to build. Absolutely, William. I look forward to it. I appreciate that. Get this CJ been a member for 43 months in a row. He says, when your ancestors appoint you to carry the torch for your family, the flame becomes too powerful to deny. Woo! We are the shift. The way Ooh, I like this. We are the shift, the way, and the eternal light.
Set it on fire.
Oh!
Fire.
I like that, CJ. Whew, okay. Cerise, thank you for becoming a member. OG Doc Later, thank you for being a member for 18 months in a row. He said OCO.
OCO, free thinkers.
Jess, thank you for being a member for 48 months in a row. Jess says spreading the truth, absolutely. Chris been a member for 16 months in a row. What up, Chris? The Black News Network, what's going on, y'all? Thank you for becoming a member. Royalty, thank you for becoming a member. What up, Royalty? Safara L, been a member for 23 months in a row. I appreciate that. You said he will bring it back to the original. Absolutely. That's the ultimate goal. Manita, thank you for that super chat. I think I said it when you did it, but I appreciate that, Demeter. I appreciate that. Jacqueline, thank you for becoming a member. Mahogany said, took the gold from the people and the Indians have most of the gold. Uh-oh.
Set it on fire.
They got to return everything back now. But see, we got to stand up and start stepping up to the plate, and claim was rightfully ours. See, that's what the problem was this whole time. They had everybody's mind focused on a whole nother landmass that our ancestors ain't have nothing to do with here. This entire time. This, man, they twisted and turned everything around. They've been lying to us for so long. I'm just so thankful that it is, all those lies are finally coming down now. OG Dubs, thank you for being a member for 49 months in a row. DJ Sweet, thank you for becoming a member. Kenneth, thank you for the super chat. And Tribeca, thank you for becoming, correction. Thank you for the super chat. I appreciate that. And KB, thank you for becoming a member. And Jabari, thank you for becoming a member. Yeah, man, so I'm gonna pick this up. We got a couple of things on the schedule. Y'all gonna probably see me go either live again tomorrow or Tuesday. One or the other. It's gonna be one or the other. I'm not playing. We are going live one or the other. And we got more stuff to go into. I got more stuff to present. And anything that pop off or what we got going on behind the scenes and it becomes public, that's when I'm gonna share it with you. Anything that we got going on behind the scenes, I'm not going to share it publicly until it becomes public. Okay? So if you're mad at that, listen, look, that's your fault. Okay? You never let your left hand know what your right hand is doing, and vice versa. Okay? Again, this ain't for everybody. This only for us. And whether they want to understand it or not, that's on them. I'ma see y'all.
America isn't a nation. The United States is a corporation. Genociders controlling your five senses by administration. People devouring into acceptance of whatever the cook is making. Minority populations still suffer from decorative illumination. Mind manipulation defines crowd participation. Enemies writes history and deems it our information. Popular news stations tell you what's popping and who's hating, when them scripted opinionated jokers just jocking them Jews statements. It's storming yet by them foreign jets spraying them chaff bustles in the air without care of affecting the land's muscles and human tissues. And fake news is new issues to those who chose to hold on to old issues. Perhaps you agree to be free and live your life, but that's only if you choose to believe in living right. Cause even while you sleep, they depleted the bombs on you. You ain't woke now, then keep an alarm on you.
Hey, look. Ain't no chucking, no jiving, no ducking, no hiding, no telling on people that's under assignment. Those are them people that fucked up our climate, changing up everything so you can't find it. Let's focus our people to focus our people, cause most of our people lose hope for our people. We choking the fan by revoking my people. We selling the fan, not promoting my people. You woke up today, it be different tomorrow. Stop or to follow with Lee Leonardo. Police killing innocent like it's their motto. How much more time we gon' take this to sorrow? How many times we go marching for peace? We still got black people that die in the streets. From your brothers or racist police. The wars not us as them races elite. Brother, wake up. Sister, wake up. This ain't nothing but shit they made up. Religion is here to manipulate minds. Only books slave masters gave us to read. Only books slave masters gave us to teach. Only books slave masters gave us to preach. Only books slave masters gave us some peace. What they have heaven here on earth. Wake up. Pick your cape up. Pick
your face up. This a shake up, no time for makeup. Injustice is a white supremacy. You both affect the melanated people too much. I'ma keep raising my fist to the sky. I'ma keep raising my fist to the sky. This ain't for everybody, this is only for them conscious melanated people.
Look. Listen. Y'all stay dangerous, stay strong, and stay informed. Okay? Stay cognizant of what's going on out here. We making moves. I love y'all. Wado.
I'm just here to make you think.
Yeah, DNA.